This is Centered, where faith meets everyday life. Our hope is to invite you into a better story, a story where you're made new through Jesus, living with God-given purpose, and experiencing peace, joy, and freedom. Together, we'll explore what it means to keep Jesus at the center of where we live, work, and play, bringing beauty, meaning, and renewal to every part of our lives. Thank you for joining us. Here are your hosts, David and Ben.
All right, well, welcome to a bonus episode of Centered. This is where, faith meets real life. Boom.
Everyday life, man.
Yes.
The everyday stuff of life.
Yes.
First bonus episode.
Very first one. And I should warn you, so if you have not listened to episode 5 on romance,
Throwback.
I would recommend
Let's throw back.
Pause. Go back.
Yep.
Listen to episode 5, because this is kind of like a double click. We're going to unpack a little bit of what we talked about in that episode.
Yep.
But we recognized, David and I, we're married, been married, not to each other, to clarify.
We're not married. Yeah,
we
are not married to each other.
Men.
We're married men.
We're
Yes.
married men. Married a long time.
Yeah.
I'm about 20 years almost.
Yeah, 26.
26.
Wowza.
So we wanted a fresh, younger perspective on romance, dating, all of it.
And we found the perfect person.
We found the perfect person.
Perfect person.
Now, to be clear, though, this is not a guest. Courtney is not a guest.
Well,
Courtney's a vital part
she's
of
a
our
part of our
every
team.
week podcast, producing the podcast week to week. So I want to make it really clear, she does not have a guest title.
no, and for those of us who only listen and don't know, like now they can put a face
Yeah.
to
Hop over to
the
YouTube.
name. Yep. This is our producer right here,
Yes.
Courtney
What's up?
Whitlow.
Welcome.
Yes.
Welcome. Glad
Just
you're here.
dox my full name. Courtney.
Courtney
Social security
Elaine
number.
Whitlow. Blood
Ooh.
type.
Close.
I
That was close.
you gonna
I'm
share
scared
it?
now.
You for it?
What's the middle name?
Lynn.
Lynn.
The most basic.
That's my mom's
girl
middle name.
Really?
Yeah, Sherry
Oh.
Lynn.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like Lynn.
Lynn, yeah.
Lynn gang. Let's
Yeah,
go.
Let's
The
go.
Lynn game is strong.
Thanks for
here.
being here.
Thank
Yeah.
you for having me.
On a scale
Yes.
of 1 to 10, how awkward is it having this conversation with two
Married men.
married men?
Not to each other.
Yeah, I didn't realize it until someone was like, you're going to be talking about your love life with like your two bosses. And I was like, word, I am. Let's do it.
Yes, let's
So-
go.
Hold on. As if we haven't had these
No, yeah,
conversations
yeah.
offline.
Yes.
Like,
As
really.
if this is the first time.
Do
We're
we need to talk
family.
about Nike store guy? Like, we have had these conversations.
Let's do it. Hashtag if you're watching, love you. I'll buy more socks
More
from
socks.
I
The sock sales went through the roof that day, David.
Oh,
Let's just say.
I feel like Courtney is the epitome of the meme that, the meme that's the work meme. It's, hey, we're family here. And I just got done applying to 15 other families this
Yes.
week. Have you seen that one?
This might push her over the edge
the
to
edge.
that.
So
Yeah.
don't do
Yes.
that. We really are
No.
family.
Yes.
We care about you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we
Yes.
love what you bring to this conversation. So we're excited to have
Thank
it.
you. Yes, I'm excited to be here. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, all right, we're just gonna dive in. So, in the episode 5, that if you haven't watched, you should pause and watch. But in that episode, David and I talked a little bit about how coming up in the church, we experienced what was called purity culture, right? Or like sex is bad theology, like this idea that sex is evil, run from it, stay away from it. But once you're married, it's cool. So we're curious, as a 21-year-old who's spent some time in the church, like what are the messages that you're getting from the church about singleness, romance, sexuality, all of it?
Yeah, I feel like, especially since starting to come here, there's been more of an open conversation about it, which I was like really appreciative of. But I didn't start like fully going to church until we found this one in like 2018. So before that, we would go to a church that my grandparents
went to in Burlington, Colorado. And they're very much more like to the book, to everything. And so they were very strict on like, sex before marriage is bad, don't do it. And I mean, every time I went to church, I was a little younger, but that's what I experienced. And I was like, okay, it's bad, whatever. And then I was lucky enough to grow up in a family where they made like boundaries very clear and, allowed me to guide my faith in my own way and, not say like, it's terrible, you can't do that, this is bad. And so I feel like currently with the conversations we have, I feel more open to those ideas because there's more people around my age in the church now. And I feel like it's more, I don't know, people aren't scared to have conversations about it anymore, which I really appreciate. It's not something to shy away from. And it's like something that is real and that everybody goes through in everyday life, sex, marriage, whatever that may be, and relationships and how that looks. And I think the church is like great in kind of guiding how maybe you should take that and how you should, guide your relationships and go into relationships with how you're thinking about things. But I mean, I haven't felt like a huge like, this is bad, this is terrible, don't do it from the church, which I think is great. So I just feel like I've been able to step into things that maybe aren't so traditional without judgment because it's life. Everyone's going through life for the first time. Everybody's trying to figure things out all at the same time. And it's not bashing anybody for what they've decided to do or what they're going to do. So I've enjoyed it, but yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny how the church is afraid of the conversation.
Yeah.
Yet, like even our own biology, like has the conversation with us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's a
Like it or
point.
not.
Yeah. Like there's a point. Like my son, he's 13 and coming of age or whatever, and he's starting to have like legitimate sexual attraction.
Yeah.
To girls, and it's like one of those things where he's like we're having those conversations of like, what do you do with that? You know what I mean? And if there's no place for you to turn and have those conversations, life's going to be really weird when you're like, oh, like I have these feelings and yet I can't talk about them and they're bad. You know?
Right.
Like, that's a weird. That's a weird leap to try to have to make. And
But that's not what happens.
Right.
Like, it's not that we don't talk about it. You just know the church is not a safe place to talk about it.
Right.
I will talk about it outside of the church, which probably means friends who aren't Jesus followers or
don't carry the same sexual ethic. And
right.
Yeah.
So like those things give you a different view of sexuality and what it is to even just be human, let alone how to deal with those feelings and ideas. So, which is a good like segue because one of the questions I had is like, so what are the messages that you're getting then from culture as opposed to the church? Like I'm assuming different messages.
Absolutely. Yes.
Help us. Like, what are you hearing as a 21-year-old?
Yeah. Well, I'm growing up in a generation and we call it hookup culture. And that's become very much a thing of like, you don't do relationships, you just hook up and move on to the next person because you're fulfilling like immediate needs basically. And I think that there's a lot of people now around my age that aren't ready for that like commitment yet, but still know that they want their needs filled, which, is everybody. And I think that that's the way that they find it is there's so many other people who are like, hook up, no strings attached, my needs are fulfilled, but I don't have to like fully commit to you and go through the stages of a relationship. And so that's kind of what is impeded onto, I wouldn't say me specifically and like my friends and whatever, but I do have a couple friends who participate in hookup culture because they need their needs met. And I wouldn't say they've ever encouraged me to do it, but I mean, it's not a foreign like idea to me. Right. Like I definitely know that it's there and that it exists. And I think that's why I struggle so hard with relationships nowadays is because that's not what I want. And I think, I don't know if you'd even consider it traditional. I just feel like it's what you want. Like it's just a basic ask of like, I want somebody to, you know, go on dates with and like actually put effort towards them and want something more than just sex at the end of the day. And that's like so hard to find right now, which is rough. But I would say that's kind of what I've been taking in from everyone around me and how that is. So that's
so you're 21. How early did that hookup culture start for your generation?
Yeah, high school. I mean, we got to high school and the more people I met in high school, there was a very rare select few that were like, yeah, I started like having sex in middle school. And I was like, oh,
yeah, wow.
What is that?
I was like stressing about how I looked and like my clothes and if I was going to make it to theater class and you guys were doing that, but for sure. Okay. But yeah, I mean, high school, you know, you're surrounded by, you know, the pouring of like 5 different schools that come into high school and you're meeting a bunch of different new people and it was everywhere. Like, and I was surrounded by people in relationships all the time, whether it was, and the age gaps were, you know, there. It was freshman with a senior, freshman. Like, it was very all over the place.
Yeah.
And I think that was like confusing for me because I was like, am I supposed to be like dating an 18-year-old? Because I mean, what, freshman year, you're 14, 15?
Totally.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Senior year, you could be 18.
Right. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I guess like after 20, that age gap doesn't seem bad because you're both in your 20s, whatever. But at that point, it's like you're fresh out of middle school and this person's about to go to college.
Yeah. Right.
And that's like weird to me. I don't know. But I experienced that and I saw that. And some of my friends were in relationships that were like that. Yeah. And I just like personally thought it was a weird dynamic and nothing I like tried to dip into. But at the same time, I was like, I'm not finding relationships in people that are my age. So should I be doing that?
Yeah.
And that was weird. Like, I don't know. It was definitely a hard time navigating that through high school. And I hated like constantly being around people in relationships. And I still like low-key kind of do. Because I'm like, you guys suck. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, because relationships
you guys love
are hard.
each other. What the heck? No, literally. But I'm like, you're
Gross.
so lucky. No, I'm just kidding. But like, you guys are so lucky to have found somebody who like loves you for who you are and like is meeting your needs in a way that like you want. And I like start to think that my expectations are like unrealistic or something like that. So, yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
It's like redefining your understanding of relationship. Right?
Yeah.
Of like what
absolutely.
it means to be in relationship. And you even apologize. You keep saying like traditional or whatever. I don't know what to call it, but you're like apologizing for like wanting a genuine relationship.
Which is stupid.
Isn't that dumb?
Like, yes,
no,
it's
not at
dumb.
you.
No,
like I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm just saying
But that's what
fascinating
culture,
to me.
I think that's what like you're responding
Literally.
to culture and how you think people are hearing you say these things. Right?
Like,
Is that
yes,
what's
no.
happening?
I don't.
Yeah.
I
want
don't-
someone to love me, to share life with, to have an emotional
I'm asking
connection
for
with.
Basic,
you're
basic needs.
You're like, I don't even
Fine
care.
line.
Like,
I'm sorry, I don't want to sex it down on the first date. Like, hello? Like, but I shouldn't apologize for that. Like,
totally.
I'm literally just asking for the bare minimum, and that's not even provided.
Possible.
And it's like, bro.
And you might not know the answer to this question, but how much do you think like pornography and access to pornography has changed or contributed to the hookup culture and changed even relationship or expectations and stuff?
Yeah, I feel like porn is very like easily accessible, and I feel like when it's watched, people want that, and the easiest way to get it is hookup culture. And because obviously that's what everyone else is kind of wanting, is that like intimate moment, but for a short time. And so I feel like being that it's so accessible by a lot of people, including myself, like if I'm being so honest, like that's like something that I came across at a younger age and my friends as well. And it totally changes your perspective of like, I don't know, for a while I was like, should I be doing this now? And like, what is this? But then there's that whole stigma around it. Like, it's so fake. It's not, like, that's not how it actually is.
Right.
But I feel like with the easy accessibility to it, and it's become normal. Like, it's normalcy to just watch that and like take in from that. And I feel like a lot of people have told me that they like try to learn from it, like from those videos. I'm like,
Wow.
that's
Like a
real-
how-to?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
YouTube,
No, how
like
to
a DIY
yes.
for my like home
Yeah.
improvement project. It's like,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
And
interesting.
that seems a little mature, at least at the age in where that was happening, because that was like mainly like freshman year,
Yeah.
sophomore year, and they're like, I'm trying to learn from that, and that's also navigating like that new like puberty that you've been given
Yeah.
and trying to navigate those feelings, which like I understand and all of that, but I feel like since it's so normal, it's like, why not just implement that into my real life with the people I'm around,
Yeah.
since they're doing the same thing.
Well, I remember, and I don't know, I don't think I shared this in the previous podcast, but like, I think it was Harvard wanted to do a study on the effects of porn.
Mm.
And they were trying to find like a base group of people who had not experienced porn. They couldn't find
Yeah.
people who hadn't
Really?
experienced
Been
porn.
exposed
So
to
they
it.
couldn't do the survey.
study
They
they
just
wanted.
like,
Wow.
well, we can't do
Yeah.
this study because they don't exist. So like, would
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
say, is that consistent with your experience? Like everyone has seen porn. Like you probably don't have friends who haven't, or
I don't think I do. I think
Yeah.
everyone has. And that was part of the way that I came across it, was I was shown it by one of my friends.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, you see it and then you're like, oh, this is so cool. Let's share
Yeah.
it. Let's show other people.
And it's different when it's in your pocket.
Absolutely.
Like my
yeah.
friends had to
Yes.
like bring a magazine, you know what I mean, that
Right,
they
right.
stole from underneath their
you're
dad's
not
desk.
just hiding
Yeah,
that.
and they had to get it back before their dad
No.
got home. You know what I
Right.
mean? It was
Yeah.
like it was hard
No, like
to access it.
Yeah.
Like,
private
oh, yeah.
browser and you're done.
Yeah.
Like,
going to the convenience store,
right, and look the clerk in the
look
eye.
in the magazine aisle, and you're like, this one's in plastic. Why? Like it was so much harder
yeah.
to get access,
And now it's so
and now
accessible.
anyone.
But
Yeah.
what's interesting, you've already talked about the redefining relationship it's doing, but I like desensitizing us to sex and sexuality just generally is
Yeah.
like that's got to do something to a culture too, where it's
Yes.
so normative that it's
Yeah.
not reserved for any like special place or location
Yeah.
or anything like that. It's just
Right.
out in the world.
Yeah.
It's just there.
And I was going to say that is like, with how often it gets seen and whatever and made, honestly, it's like, I feel like growing up, it took away my meaning of sex for a while.
Wow.
And it's because it's just like,
Yeah.
you just go from person to person just because it's what you want at that time. And I think, like when you were talking about it, you're like, sex is a very beautiful thing and something that you share with somebody very special. And there's not that special someone anymore. It's like just anyone.
Yeah.
And it like takes away that like meaning that I think I'm still like trying to hold on to, of
Yeah.
like, I do want that to be something that I share with somebody that I really care about, and not just somebody that I'm like, yeah, you're fine for tonight. like,
Yeah.
you know,
That's
like
a big
so-
difference.
Well, it's,
Yeah.
it's like like sex is appetite kind of thing. It's equating the need for sex with the need for food. And
Mm.
obviously, sex is something much more meaningful and much more personal than
just a
an
base
In-N-Out
appetite.
burger.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But when we make it
Yeah.
on the same level, like that does something to our hearts, and it does something to just like the beauty of what sex really is.
yeah.
So, and you're just talking about the difference of being single in this world. So, like, yeah, that's a big, those are some big, like, obstacles or barriers that you have to overcome, or at least, like, have a framework
Yeah.
for in that. And I don't know. Are you,
Well, I was kind of wondering, like, okay, so, you had said the impact on you personally is that hookup culture makes it hard to find someone who wants what you want.
yeah.
But what would you say for those who are part of that hookup culture? Like, what is the impact that you observe on them?
Yeah, that's good.
I feel like, I don't even know. I just feel like with people who participate in hookup culture, I think at some point they're going to realize that their needs aren't being met anymore.
Mm.
And I feel like, it's a short-term fix, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I feel like at some point they're going to be like, man, like I feel like all in all, it'll come full circle, and they'll really want that need to find that one person to be with for the rest of their life. But right now, it's just that immediate, like, you want sex, I want sex. That's all that matters, and that's great, and that's perfect. So I feel like it's gonna have a lasting impact on them to be like, why did I like do this so much for like a short term pleasure?
Yeah.
And like now I want something more, and I wish I spent that hookup culture time like looking for that somebody instead of like just filling the void and filling the time. That's at least how I think it would be.
Yeah.
I don't participate in hookup culture because a lot of it honestly is like self like body issues, and I'm like, I don't want to share that with like just anybody, and that's I'm scared.
That's real though.
Yeah. And so I feel like at some point they're going to realize the lasting impact it has on them. And it's kind of like porn in a way where like if you watch it so much, it just doesn't work anymore. You know, and it just doesn't have that
or you
same
need to get
meaning.
more and more, and it leads you down like weird different paths.
Yeah, and I feel like it could lead to like worse habits. And I mean, it's not something that I've like personally seen with anybody. I know one of my friends, she like participated in hookup culture a lot, and she would get attached very easily. And she knew that, which is why I always found it strange that she like continued to participate in that. But
like, why do you keep putting yourself through that?
Yes, it hurts
like
really
when it's
bad.
over.
Yes. Because then, you know, they hook up for a while, or there's a thing like a hookup buddy where like it's the same two people.
Friends with benefits.
Exactly. You just
That's
don't
what we
want
call
that.
them in our day.
Yeah, you just don't want that commitment. And at some point she realized I do. And I really do like this person a lot. And I like spending time with them, whatever. And that other person's like, no, like we established at the beginning, like it is sex and that's it. And she would like be crushed. And so she struggled to like find somebody that she really connects with. And being that she was a part of that hookup culture for so long, she knows what it provides for her. So she kind of like sits in that sadness for a while of like, dang, I don't have anybody. And then is like, but I'll just find someone quickly. But she like runs through the same thing of like, I like you more than this, so.
Well, I think one of the things we have going on in this cultural moment is we just are like unwilling to admit that we're more than just physical bodies. Like there's a soul and a spirit in us and emotions. We have an emotional world, we have a physical world, we have an intellectual world. And we have a spiritual world, you know, that's all like swarming around in there. And when you reduce the human person to just one thing, just the physical, you're deteriorating what it means to actually be human.
Yeah.
You know, you're taking away from some of the most fundamental aspects of what it means to be human. And like you said, it's never going to be satisfying, at least in the way that you are hoping it will long term. And I love that you recognize at such a young age that there are that has an impact on you. Like giving yourself away in that way actually has an impact on you. More than just that, and not, you know, it's not permanent. It's not like, you know, like
damaged goods forever.
You can't,
Right,
you know, it's not like it's
yeah.
not that. But like people, you can come back from stuff and like that. But just being aware that there are always like consequences to our actions, like the things that we do stuff to us, you know, and you just got to be aware. Like I'm sure for your friend, there's going to be relational baggage that she's going to bring into a permanent relationship because of that, you know, history that's there. And so, I just don't think in the future, I think we, especially young people and me being young, man, I was the worst at this. You only think about right now. Like, how does this feel right now? And what do I need right now? And not like, hey, in 5 years from now, that's going to like come with me. You know?
Right,
like,
yeah.
It's going to be messed
Yeah,
up.
which I think, I mean, a big part of it is like, I don't think that security comes from that hookup culture, which is something that I really long for, is security with somebody and knowing that like what we share relationship wise, whether that be sex or just a relationship in general, is like very sacred to me. And I don't want to just pour out everything and my entire history and everything with somebody to just up and leave.
Right.
Like that's a huge, like that's a security blanket for me. And if that gets broken, like that's going to ruin me for like future relationships, which I think is why I tread so carefully among like meeting new people and like what their needs are and trying to like navigate that. Cause it is a security blanket that I don't want to let go of. And I know what I want from that. And if that's like broken, then I'm like, so.
Well, yeah. Cause I think what you're saying is just like I think it's a universal truth that like what makes sex beautiful and sacred is the security and the safety that comes with participating in that act with someone who genuinely knows you and loves you, and you trust that. You feel safe in that. You feel secure in that, so you can give of yourself fully to someone who fully, or at least very well knows you, because we talked about in that episode, like who are we ever fully known? But yeah, that's huge. I want to pivot really quick a little bit to singleness.
Yeah.
Singleness in the church, like especially like what are the messages that you're hearing from the church, whether it's not necessarily even from the stage, but just like in relationship with people in conversations, like what's it like being single in the church? What are your thoughts about that? How does it impact you?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's funny because in the church, I've noticed a lot of people around my age who are like already like getting engaged and married.
Yeah.
And man, does that make me feel behind. Every time I see it, I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, good for you, obviously. Like you found like that somebody who like shares the same faith as you and you're like really comfortable with this person. At 20? Hello? What?
Yeah. Oh, right.
I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's a lot. And I feel like, I don't know. It's different because I feel at some points, singleness is talked about and it's like, it's good to be single because then you can really like grow yourself, but also growing in your relationship with God and like really defining those boundaries and really locking in what you want in a relationship and how you want to implement God into your relationships. And so there's like that aspect of like, it's good to be single because that's like something you can really focus on. But then as soon as like those people are married, they're like, it's so great. It's awesome. I can't believe I went so long.
Changed my life.
No, literally. Yeah. Like they're giving a sermon or something and they're like, yeah, I was like really single. And then, I met my wife and we got married and man, I've been having fun. It's been a great time. And I'm like, cool. That's awesome. Great.
It's like a switch.
No,
Like,
it literally
but
is.
It's actually the same thing. It's like a subtle version of the same thing we grew up with and talked about. Like this like idea that like, well, sex is like bad and we want to kind of stay away from it. And maybe that's not like the actual message that the church is saying.
Right.
But after the fact, it is because they're saying like, yeah, I was super single. I was like, really pure and all of this. But then, boom.
Yes.
Everything changed.
Yeah.
And my life is so much better now.
No, literally.
And
yes.
it's like, what does that do to you?
Right.
Like when you're single and you're already feeling behind and you're like, so what you're saying is my life is incomplete right now?
Literally. Yes. I'm like, that switch gets flipped. And because they're immediately like, don't find fulfillment in a partner, find fulfillment in God and what you want. And I'm like, yes, like, let's do that. And then I get real deep into
and then they find a partner.
Yes. And then they find a partner and they're like, I can't believe I went that long being single. I can't believe I thought that I was complete without this person. And I'm like,
oh, gosh.
So what's the moves? What am I?
Yeah, what's the move?
Right.
Love
am I supposed to
God
lock
or get
into?
married?
No,
Like,
literally.
what's
I'm like,
the move?
Man.
and so I don't know. And
That's real.
like I said, seeing like the younger ones, already being in like such strong relationships and getting engaged and getting married, I'm like, how did you do that?
Well, here's
I
what
don't
they're
know.
not telling you though.
You're right.
They're getting in fights over how the toilet paper goes on the roll.
Yes. Yes.
They're annoying. Like somebody snores.
Yeah.
Like they're leaving out. Like it's almost like what you're seeing is their Instagram feed.
Yeah.
Like
No,
that's what
really.
they're
Not
sharing.
the real life.
Yeah.
And there is great fulfillment and love to be experienced within marriage. That's beautiful. I have like my wife knows I love, but man, it's the hardest thing I've ever participated in relationally.
Yeah.
And maybe they haven't hit that yet. Maybe they're still in that honeymoon phase.
Right. Yeah.
It's coming.
It's coming.
For real. I'm
Yeah.
like lock in, guys, because
Yeah, I tell people all the time that Tara and I both have experienced moments of loneliness and aloneness in marriage
For sure.
that we never experienced in singleness. Like it's just yeah, it's crazy how that works. But yeah, it's funny because I always try to like think about how I present like my marriage in like the room from the stage. You know, it's like I always try to think about single, and I grew up in a culture that everyone was like, like honor the wife, like, oh, my smoking hot wife, and then, it's like,
hot
and
wife
it's like,
youth pastor.
yeah, you
yeah.
got like cred on how ridiculous like you made that whole
Right.
and I was like, man, that's a bummer, because to be honest, when we look at the New Testament and what it looks like to be Jesus followers in the church, it actually says more about being single than it does about being married.
Right.
Which is
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
like to think about, of like importance and connection with Jesus and like purpose and, all of these things that we desperately want and we think we're going to find it through marriage. But it's not there. Like
Yeah.
actually, and oftentimes marriage can be a distraction to those things. And I'm a pro marriage person, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And so
yeah.
I don't want to I want people to do that, but I don't want to like elevate it to the point where like someone as bright and intelligent and as God-loving as you are spend all of your time consumed for this to be the goal.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like I believe with all my heart that's gonna happen for you. It's
Yeah.
like there for you, but like when you spend all of your like prime years like chasing that,
Yeah.
like what is that? That's got to do something to your
It's exhausting.
yeah.
It's because truly I have been. Like, that's always been my end goal. And I think it's because I know internally, like, that's something that I really want, is I want to build a family. And I feel like one of the things that God's created me to do is to nurture and care for people. And I want to do that with my family and with children. And so when I feel behind,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what else do I have to do to like lock into this? Because they're already like 5 steps ahead of me. So what am I missing out on? Like, I've constantly been like for sure chasing it. And I mean, that's like when dating apps come into play, is like I was really struggling for a long time, and I still do, with my location. And I go to the same places every single day. I go to work, maybe a Chili's, and then I go home.
2 for 20.
Your dating pool is
triple
small.
dipper. No, but that's it. It's my social
Right.
pool
Yeah.
is like,
Wow. Yeah.
because I don't go to college, I don't go to school or
Right,
anything like that. And even in the short time that I did, my dad's like, yeah, like that's where I met your mom. That's where you'll find like
Yeah.
new
Thanks, Dad.
people. Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
Hashtag I didn't. Hashtag no.
Hashtag good for you.
Yeah. Hashtag good for you. Congratulations, you found her within the first 2 months. Okay, I didn't even talk to anybody when I went to college. Like, because I'm like, I don't know you. Like, what the heck? That's weird. So, like, that pool's gone for me. Work, dating people at work is iffy, and it's, I don't know.
Also a small pool.
That's a small pool.
Also
Yeah.
a very small pool, because
Feel bad
I
for you.
work with like 3 people around my age.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's like, okay. But I don't know. I think that's also the hard part about the church, is that pool is limited in itself. And that's why I went to dating apps, because I was like, okay, let's like extend the range a little bit. You can literally set the location. I'm like, all right, let's see what people look like in Denver. Let's see what
Okay.
people look like in Inglewood. Like, just like
Oh.
whatever. And
You haven't
Also-
like plugged in Boise, Idaho yet?
no, I'm not trying to travel that far. But I mean, even then it's like bad. Like, and I really haven't, I deleted all my dating apps like last year in October, I think. And I was on them for like 2 years, I think. Went on like a few miscellaneous dates, and every single one ended in the same thing of, I just want sex. But they would
Wow.
put in so much work to where I felt tricked.
Bait and
Like,
switch.
Yes,
Wow.
literally.
I don't want. Basically, their profile says I don't want sex.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not literally.
Yes.
I want a
but
relationship.
They're selling
Yeah.
you on that.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And then
Yeah.
when we finally meet in person, that's actually all I want.
And there's
Really?
there's choices on there. Like, I'm open to a long-term relationship, or I'm just looking for a short-term. There's literally an option says that I just want a hookup buddy,
Yeah.
like whatever. But they will specifically put like long-term relationships because they want the girls that'll get attached to them.
Liars.
Literally, I went on a date with this one guy, and we went on 3 dates, and he like paid for everything. He was super sweet, great. Like, it was a cover. I was like, man, this is crazy. I was just lied to because I was like, okay, I could actually like see a future with this guy. He lied about his faith. He said, because he was like,
That's
we
what I was
were
gonna
in his
ask, 'cause
car.
you asked about the
Yes.
faith. Like, that's gotta be
we were
a-
in his car, and he was like, so are you trying to like, and I was like, no. And he was like, okay, so let me be honest. I don't have faith. I just want to hook up with you and move on. And I was like,
Wow.
and you just spent like we went to sushi. I'm like, that's expensive. Like, you spent
at least
a lot
you
of
got
money.
sushi out
No,
of it. No, I'm
for
just
real.
kidding.
At
though,
least you
for
didn't.
real.
Yeah, you didn't
Yeah.
end up empty-handed.
Like, he spent like a lot of money and a lot of time with me
Yeah.
to where I was tricked, and I was like, oh, he's about it.
He was
So do
cold.
you-
He was not.
Do you feel like dating app is the only option for you? Does it feel like that
Yeah.
right now in this day and age?
Absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
unless I, start going to like different places, like, I feel like that's it. And with me not having dating apps anymore, I'm like, okay, I pretty much am just expecting a man to like fall at my feet.
Like,
at some
God's just
point
gonna-
on the
God's just
street.
gonna be like,
no,
"Oh."
literally, he's just gonna
Drop.
spawn in
Yeah.
front of me, and I'm like, oh, hello, there you are. Like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't work that way. But my circles are so small. I don't do like outside activities really. I rock climbed for a while, but then it's just like, I don't know, that people don't come up and talk to you. I'm not gonna go up and talk to you. I'm scared.
Yeah,
Like,
personality has a lot to do with it
Yeah.
too.
exactly.
You know?
So
Yeah.
I feel like for a while that's like the only time that I could really try to find people that I weren't in my immediate circle.
So I've never done the dating app thing. They didn't exist growing up, and then later, early on, it was weird, and then now it's just so normative. Like, to hear, does it feel like you're shopping for a guy?
low-key, yeah. Like,
Like
kind of-
Amazon?
No, literally.
I go on
Like,
Amazon.
well, what are the
5
ratings?
stars?
Yeah.
No, literally. Okay, I'm not even joking. There's literally an app that it's a dating app, and like girlfriends of this guy, not like girlfriends, but like friends that are girls,
Relationships or-
Yeah.
can literally write notes on this guy and be like, here is like what he's like, here's what you can expect out of him. Like, there's a dating app like that, so you like aren't tricked, and like there's a
Do the
literally
girls write
rating.
honest things
Liter-
though? Like, this guy's a tool.
Yeah.
Stay away from
Yeah,
him.
They do.
I've never been on that app specifically, but I've seen obviously like
Yeah.
TikToks on it, and they'll write things like, be careful, he doesn't want commitment, and he might trick you and say he
Wow.
does. But no, dating
Sushi
apps,
guy.
I do. Sushi guy.
Sushi guy.
Hashtag
see ya.
you're a terrible. No, I'm just kidding. But no, dating apps is definitely, I felt like, I mean, it is shopping. Like, you put like your interest and like your beliefs and then everything like that. So you're like, okay, does he have common interests like I do? If not, okay, maybe I'll look like a couple more pictures. And then, do you have faith? Whatever, you can pick. It's literally
How
shopping.
fast does it ship? Will it be here tomorrow?
No, literally. Can I customize it with its clothes? No, I'm just kidding. But no, yeah, I mean, it kind of low key is like shopping, and that's probably not the way I should be looking at it. But I mean, it's
Yeah.
like set up
Well,
that way.
It's just something I've always like thought about. It's like, how
Yeah.
is it not a feel like a consumeristic endeavor when you're just like,
Yeah. No, and it is, and they trick you, and you have to pay for like certain features
Yeah.
on those, and like some of them they won't even let you see. They'll be like, 50 men liked you. Upgrade to see their profile. Like, they won't let you see the profile
until you
No,
or
pay
see the
the money.
picture.
and-
Right, 20 bucks and you can
it's
see, and you might be
commodified.
right.
I get that with the classmates thing. Like, someone looked at your
Totally.
your profile
Yeah.
in your
Yeah, yeah.
yearbook.
Right.
Pay money to find out who. I'm like, I
I
don't
don't
care.
care.
No, right.
But it's different. I'm not
Yes.
looking for that.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. But also, it's like, if I pay for it, then I have the mindset that the other guys who are also paying for it are in it for more than just sex.
oh,
But then you
But
think
then
back
they're
to
not.
Sushi Guy,
sushi
Yeah.
guy
who
says
paid for
otherwise.
everything, and then he's like, no, that's all I want. So
Okay.
Wow.
be
So-
clear, bro.
To like just a word,
Mhm.
like a word. I'd love to hear from you. Like, what would you want as a church leader? What would you want us to know? Like, when we talk about relationships and sex and sexuality, what would you want us to consider when we're putting together messages or communicating things that like about singleness, about the difficulties of dating right now in this cultural moment, about what it means to grow into manhood and womanhood? Like, what would you want us to know?
Just continue to have that open conversation, but also don't, be blindsided by the fact that things like porn and stuff like that are like a super apparent thing nowadays. And it's something that a lot of people struggle with. And I think that hookup culture is such like a prominent thing right now. Like it's not as easy as, just, pray for that man and hope that he comes along. And, as long as you're strong in what you believe in and what you want, like it'll happen. Like the one thing I hate being told as a single person is like, it'll happen when you least expect it. It'll come for you at some point. It's going to happen. No, yeah. Like, I hate when people say that because more than half the time it's the people who are in a relationship that say that. And I'm like,
single people never say that.
Literally.
They're like, girl, we're in this together.
Right. Like, it doesn't give me hope. It doesn't help me out. So don't say that.
Don't
so,
do
yeah, just like being like super knowledgeable to the fact that we are like trying to navigate things like those once single people did. And we have different expectations and we're struggling to find people who also have those same expectations.
It's a different world.
For sure.
Yeah,
it would be dumb for me to give you advice. I didn't grow up in your world, like I have no,
I've got a lot of advice. It's probably none of it's helpful.
None of it's helpful.
Like, I mean, I think we understand like what it is to be human and some of those things, but not like actually like the practical, like what step by step, this is how you get a man in 2025. Like I got nothing for you.
No, literally.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be helpful even if you did have things for me because it doesn't work for everybody.
Right. That's
like,
true.
So
I can give you some advice though.
Yeah.
Would you?
He's like, it'll happen when you least expect it.
I was so hoping you would say that.
I walk out. I'm done.
You have to expand your pool from firefighters to other vocations.
Yeah.
All right, they can't just be firefighters. All right.
I'm not. No, I'm just kidding.
There was
real.
Nike guy. So
Okay.
If you have
wasn't a
tattoos, lock in. If you're a firefighter, lock in. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. Like I know, but also I don't know.
Yeah, we kid obviously.
No, for sure, but.
And we could just do a little shout out to West Hill Grill,
Shout out the hockey guy. I'm sorry your team lost. My team also lost.
Oh, I can relate.
Love you. No, I'm just kidding. Love you.
Oh boy.
Love you.
Shout out West Hill Grill Journeys.
So many options. So many options.
I like how literally nobody's gonna like understand any of that.
And
be like,
you're
okay.
welcome.
You're welcome.
Because we didn't go much further.
Yeah.
We could make it really uncomfortable.
Don't buy socks because you think a guy's cute. He was just upselling you, and I fell for it.
Sucker.
I was fine to be a sucker that day, to be honest.
Socks or chicken wings, man. They'll get you in trouble.
Both of them. Give me both.
Well, hey, I think this is a perfect place to wrap things up. Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you
for just being real and honest and open with the crazy world that you are living in as a single young person. And man, let's just keep having good conversations like this. So thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Thanks for letting me talk in an open space.
It's going to be super helpful.
Really appreciative. So
I can't wait to get this out.
Yeah,
Same.
Seriously.
Hashtag don't judge
it's so
me.
good. No, I think it's
Just
so good.
Yeah, so thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you guys next week.
Peace out.
Thanks for listening to Centered. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with a friend. You can listen to Centered on your favorite podcast platform or watch on YouTube. To learn more about Mosaic or connect further, visit us online at welcometomosaic.com. See you next week.